Hello, it's the Single African Market. It is proudly associated with the Government of Ghana, the International Chamber of Commerce. That's the world's largest association of businesses, and it has about 45 million businesses across the entire world. Also, it is proudly associated with the United Nations Development Program, the UNDP, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, the German Development Corporation, GIZ, and the Business for Peace Foundation, all the way in Norway. The program is focused on bringing you all the activities and information that you need to know as far as creating one continental market is concerned. Now, this week, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries is sensitizing. Among many other things they have done, they are sensitizing members of the micro, small, and medium enterprises to help them stay competitive in the wake of the new wave of the Continental Free Trade Agreement that is blowing all across Africa. The idea is that once you stay competitive, you will be able to even export your product out of the country to the rest of the continent, or you can even withstand all the shocks. If we have influx of imports, your product will still be able to stand the test of time in the wake of AfCFTA. A Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry said government is creating 67 business resource centers and has developed a comprehensive national action plan on AfCFTA to build capacities of businesses, particularly micro, medium, and small enterprises, to harness the opportunities of AfCFTA.
The African Continental Free Trade Area, popularly known as AfCFTA, provides a lot of opportunities, particularly to the MSMEs, as they have access to the entire African market. To achieve this, a comprehensive national action plan for harnessing the benefits of AfCFTA has been developed.
She enumerated some products that have potentials under the AfCFTA.
I wish to indicate the variety of products that can be exported under the AfCFTA. Shear and shear products, processed vegetables, fruits and nuts, sauces and preparations, pharmaceutical products, alternate healthcare medicaments, beverages and spirits, dairy products, cocoa and cocoa products, products of iron and steel, processed fish or meat, synthetic fibers, fertilizers, aluminium products, and essential oils.
President of Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries highlighted some difficulties faced by MSMEs.
SME in Ghana are fragmented, that is not coordinated, dominated the informal sector of the economy. There are inadequate data and even with different findings. Good today, bad tomorrow. Short lifespan with no succession plan, and also end up paying higher interest rates on loans.
But the Chief of Staff, Akosua Frema Osei-Opare, emphasized that government will continue to support MSMEs who remain the backbone of the nation's economy.
Government remains optimistic that our micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises have all the potential to rise beyond the current global happenings in order to provide the requisite services to both Ghana and to the world.
CEO of Ghana Enterprises Agency said her outfit is working with Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries to digitalize the operations of MSMEs.
We work very closely with GNCCI, your members, to ensure that we bring about changes in their business. Through our partnership with GIZ, to make sure that we pilot the interventions of digitalization so that access to markets are brought to the doorsteps of the MSMEs.
Memorandum of Understanding was signed between Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries and Expertise Trust to digitalize the operations of Ghanaian MSMEs. Also contributing to about 90% of employment in this country, and also about 70% to gross domestic product. Undoubtedly, MSMEs are very significant in the affairs of this country and even on the continent of Africa. So a lot of people say that the success of the AfCFTA will hinge heavily on the way MSMEs take the entire agreement. That's why there's a lot of focus on the micro, medium and small enterprises these days. So my innovator or entrepreneur for this week, he is engineer by training. He had his degree in civil engineering. He's now practicing snail farming. He constructs his own greenhouses and construct them on commercial basis for people who are interested in having snail farming in their backyards or even for commercial purposes. He says it is so lucrative, he cannot meet his demand. He has about 2.4 million demand and can only produce just about 200,000 annually.
I'm a trained civil engineer. I went to Kumasi Technical University. After school, we said, why don't we create an employment? And my grandpa was also a cocoa farmer. Wherever we go to his place at Bibiani, he used to have snails every day. So I started studying them because they were fascinating. One, they did not smell, they did not make noise, they are calm, you can cramp them in a small space. So we started thinking about that why don't we create an investment people could see and grow for themselves, for employment, food security, and also a way of boosting our protein source in Ghana. So we are in the middle of the city, urban, Dansoma to be precise, and we are able to do urban farming with these setups because it doesn't take a lot of space, and they do not smell or make noise. And we saw that you could put snails in the least space and still be very profitable. Snails can lay up to about 100 per snail.
This is what, banana?
Dwarf bananas. We adapted them for this setup because it's just 3 meters in terms of the height. So they provide shade and they also provide sustenance for the snails as well. So the very green leafy parts here, which are very soft, sometimes the snails nibble on it. The same thing applies to the cocoyam. We also have sweet potatoes running all over. We also do dwarf pawpaws. Snails are nocturnal. So they do not like light. That's why we have mulch materials. So mulch materials are basically dry materials that we use to insulate the place, to give snails a hiding place and also to give them a bit of comfort so that they do not have any issues. So you see that a lot of the snails are up there. You can see a lot of them hanging. So they find very cold places and then hide. We are trying to mimic the natural environment as much as possible. So these are micro sprinkler systems that flow by gravity. So regardless of wherever you are, you can still do this. They flow by themselves, no electricity. You just turn it on at the central point and everything rains to water the whole place, making sure that every day we have greens, we have snails having water as well. The demand for snail is so high that the restaurants and the hotels that you see are all using snails. Snails is a delicacy. Restaurants make a high markup from that. So yes, we sell a lot of them. And then this is also a demo farm, so people come and see and then they buy. So we encourage a lot of the youth to come into farming, not necessarily snails. You can do a lot of other things in the value chain. So a snail, right from its shell to its intestine to everything, has a value. We sell the meat, which is known as escargot. While the snail is still alive, you can extract the slime from the snail, and then you can use it for pharmaceuticals. People use it for anti-aging creams, and then the shells of the snail is almost 90 to 98% pure calcium. So you can use that as poultry feed, as any other feed, as a form of calcium, natural calcium, to supplement other feeds that they do, like poultry. And the blood of the snail, which is the blue part, people also think it cures hypertension and a whole lot of claims that we haven't substantiated though. Even the poop or the leftovers or the waste is excellent fertilizer, organic fertilizer for growing carrots and other plants. So these are our carrots. What we do is that the visible fecal matter of the snails, we pick them up, put them here. There are no fertilizers that we add. So this is the watermelon. In the interim, we are growing people's interest in doing the raw materials. After we have enough of the raw materials, then we can tell ourselves, hey, let's go into processing. Let's go into canning, let's go into brine water or adding just salt to it and then sending it or dry freezing and then taking it outside Ghana. Even locally, we cannot supply. At every given time, we have about 200,000 demand of snail pieces in Ghana alone. And the clients that wants us to get them the snail, they need 2.4 million snails every year. We need people to help us expand and then make sure that we can grow them in larger quantities. And this you can do in your own house. These are nocturnal, they eat at night. Yeah. So whether you are a banker, you are a teacher, you are a soldier, you can still take care of these after work. So with the long run, we are looking at processing the snails ourselves and then putting them in cans so that they can be ready to eat, because people love snails, just that the process of preparing is too tedious.
To crack it up.
So that almost all the West African to north to east, we all eat snails. But most of them are imported from Greece and other places. But we as a company want to migrate to all these markets. For Nigeria and other places closer to us, we want to give them the technology. They are doing them in blocks and other setups which are not very economically viable. So this setup like this is net, so they cannot ingest it. It is aerated, is very economical, and then the people cannot come in to infect the snails with diseases. So because you have your sprinkler system outside, you just turn it on and everything is okay here. So adaptation of these technologies, including all the testings and all the parameters we do, will make sure that even in West Africa alone, if we were to take that market, is going to supply the whole of Africa, and then people will stop the importation of the snails from Greece and other places, which they know they love the African snails, but you just cannot get it enough and it's too expensive at every given time. That's why they are looking to elsewhere market. But if we are able to, one, export the adaptation of this technology to even Nigeria alone, we can actually take over the whole market in Africa. And every greenhouse you create will employ about 3 people. Most of them are going to weld, most of them are going to manage, most of them are going to learn how to grow other vegetables for the setup, because most clients who can afford this can not take care of it themselves. That means more jobs for the youth, more food, and more security, food security for Africa as well. What we plan on doing is partnering with all the communities and doing community snail farms. Beautiful. So that we can have bigger setups so that entities in the community can be employed in the farms, which will have around it other vegetables that they can grow from the snail waste, which will also be sustainable, organic, which is very expensive on the market as well.
So we say congratulations to Felix for that wonderful work that he is doing, constructing greenhouses for people who are interested in having backyard farms as far as snail production is concerned, or even having snail farming on a commercial quantity. That's not the only thing Felix is into. He's just gotten a contract to have plant about 20 acres of pepper for the Japan government. He's doing a lot, and we can only continue to pray and urge him on to do a lot more. And we will endeavor to show you every bright corner that he finds himself as we continue with this program. Felix is also encouraging all of us that, look, there's a lot in snail farming. If you have never thought about it, please try it. They don't smell, they don't make no messes. Everything is fine when it comes to snail. So I sat down with the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries to find out from him what can be the future of the likes of Felix plus many others, those in the MSME bracket and those who are doing wonderfully well, producing one thing or the other. How can we add value to some of the things they are doing to be able to capture the continental market?
I think the AfCFTA is, for me, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, to have happened to Africa and also to private sector development in Africa, because we have created a bigger market. And looking at the nature of our businesses, the SMEs, it was extremely difficult for them to even enter or go beyond even their specific countries. Yeah. With this AfCFTA, it means that we have removed all this trade barrier. Largely is now duty-free, quota-free. Now we have a market of 1.2 billion people that you can sell your product to. And the GDP, over 3.4 trillion, is a huge amount of money, or a huge GDP that we are working in. Within the AfCFTA, businesses can also expand and employ a lot of people. Yeah. Now they can also be part of a global value chain, either within a region or within the AfCFTA. So the benefits of AfCFTA for me is enormous. Now it depends on us as a country, as a region, as individuals, and as businesses to tap into the benefit. And how do we do that?
Yeah.
That is where the chamber comes in.
Good.
We have three main roles to play. Let me put it that way. The first one is to sensitize the business community about AfCFTA. It's not enough just signing the agreement. The business community should understand what is in the agreement. What are the protocols? What are the do's and don'ts?
Yeah.
What is it that if I want to export or import under the AfCFTA, what is it that as a business person I should do? So once we also want to enter into another market, we are also opening our market for others to come in.
Yeah.
Are we competitive? So we have done that on our own as a chamber. We have also collaborated with other agencies. The next part of it is for the businesses to be able to trade and participate within this market that we have created. So we are building the capacity of these businesses on specific topics. One is quality. Now, once the agreement has been signed, you can't just get up and pick any product and say, I'm sending it to South Africa to sell. You should meet certain standards, quality standard. How are you packaging your products? How are you marketing your product? You also realize that they should understand simple things like corporate governance.
Yeah.
These things that usually businesses overlook, they are the ones that are making businesses uncompetitive. So before you enter into international market, you should have had all these things put together, and then you become very well prepared to enter into the market. The next bit of it is how we can create demand for our businesses in Ghana. After create a market, it doesn't create demand.
The demand.
The market has been created, and you can only benefit when you create the demand. How do we do that? How do you get access to the other markets? We have created a platform that every member of the chamber, and even other businesses who are not yet members of the chamber, we can help them to do that, can input their products, the quantity that they can produce at any particular time. And also, if they are looking for support, if you are looking for a partner, you indicate that on the platform. You can be part of a bigger value chain, because SMEs on their own cannot, and it's difficult to say you are trading under or in a market like this. But when we aggregate the SMEs, put them together, and know that this sector, so these three areas is what we are doing as a chamber to support businesses in Ghana. Either you are a member of the chamber or not, but I also give this opportunity to encourage those who are not members of the chamber
to be members.
To be members of the chamber.
As you talked about demand, there are also some who are producing, they have demand, but they can't produce enough. So my innovator for this week, for instance, is a snail farmer and has already gotten an order to produce 2.4 million snails every year. Yet he can only produce 300,000 snails in a year. And now he's asking for young people to join, produce more, so that even just that one client, he can satisfy the client. How can you help them build their capacity to expand production?
Yes, exactly so. The market has been created. Now they need to build their capacity. That is where the aggregation becomes very relevant, because he is doing a small bit of it. Probably somebody is doing something somewhere that will require that they need to partner to be able to meet that demand. I don't know, but our system, people prefer that they are working on their own, and they have 100% of something small or 1% of something bigger. So the chamber will promote partnerships. So within the value chain, I think the person should not even look at only Ghana. Now we have created opportunity for other countries. Now, how do you assess or get in touch with somebody in Nigeria and say that I have a demand of this quantity of a product? Now, within Nigeria, where can I access such a product so that we aggregate? We have branches in Nigeria as a chamber. We have every country that you go, there is a branch of Chamber of Commerce there. And that is what we do. We link businesses. That's why we said your business link is our business. So such a person will be able to support by also sending information to other chambers of commerce that company A has this demand. He's looking for people to produce this amount or quantity with these specifications. Then we'll be able to do that. So the platform that we have created is also to support such people. So that person can just provide the information on what he's doing, the product he's supplying, the quantity he's doing now, and the quantity he requires others to also supply to make sure they meet that demand. And I think within the shortest possible time, he'll be able to get people within that value chain, and then we can also aggregate, especially with the SMEs, to be able to meet such demand.
A lot of them want to come up. You go to the districts, you go to the metropolis, a lot of them are doing stuff and they want to come out there. Do you also have a mechanism where you reach out rather than they coming to you, because not a lot of them know that they have to come to you?
I think it's a two-way affair. We have a mechanism where we reach out to people. We have, as you said, we have branches in almost all the regions that you can just walk into a chamber office and just send your proposal. We are the first floor of the World Trade Center. Just walk in and we can provide you with assistance that you need. In fact, we have set up what we call sectors within the chamber, and we have sector heads that identify the needs and provide support for each of the various sectors. So if that, what the person is doing, if it's in the agriculture sector, there is a sector specific for that. So we reach out to the people, but we are also using your platform and other platforms that if you have such a challenge, please walk to us and we'll be able to assist you.
Talk about quality again and standards. One of the difficulty is that some of the products that our folks produce, you use them 1 day, 2 days, and it goes off. And so it's not of that standard that you can find in a South African mall, for instance. How is the chamber directing small and medium enterprises in particular to begin to look at quality? And who determines that quality so that we know that whatever we are sending out there will be able to compete?
Well, you see, quality for me is very key. In fact, when you create a market like what we have created, the only thing that can limit your access to the market is how to meet such these qualities. How, that's what we call the non-tariff barriers. And I'm afraid that other countries may use these things to prevent people from entering their market.
Yeah.
So before you make up your plan or you have an idea to export under AfCFTA, make sure that all the things you need to, put in place. Get in touch with Standard Authority, Food and Drug, if it's food related, that I'm going to do this. What is or what are the basic qualities that I have to meet? If you meet those qualities, you'll be able to price your product very well.
Yeah.
You can enter any market. So for me, it's very key. We cannot compromise on quality when we want to trade and want to benefit from AfCFTA. Whenever you have an idea, make sure that you are producing to be able to compete with the same person coming from South Africa. Even if you are not exporting there, the South African products are also coming. So you should also be very competitive locally. Otherwise, we will not be able to go there and they will come here and they will outcompete us and we will not be able to sell our product. So the advantages for AfCFTA is huge. But the disadvantages, we also have to look at its business.
Because we can be overtaken by other markets who probably will be producing quality stuff more than us.
If you go to Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, South Africa, you cannot distinguish their products from products coming from
the US or yes.
They meet the same quality standards. Yeah. That is what people are looking out for. Can you imagine if the Moroccan companies are coming, the South African companies are coming, the Tunisian companies are coming into our markets? If you are not careful, we are going to kill our local market. Yeah. But I have a strong belief that we can do it.
Well, so the future is bright, and that's only when we can do the right thing and also prepare well enough. And that's why this program is coming your way, to help all of us prepare as we meet a bigger continental market and hoping to take advantage of it. All around the continent of Africa, a lot of things are happening everywhere. In Kenya, things are happening. In Senegal, things are happening. Here in Ghana, in Lagos, Abidjan, everywhere this week. The folks who attended the workshop on the Single Currency and Fintech boosting Intra-Africa Trade have returned. But we're going to tell you what transpired there, plus many more, next. The African Association of Public Administration and Management and the Pan-African Strategy Group, in partnership with the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, has organized a hybrid forum on the role of single currency to boost intra-African trade and enhance the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Experts expressed hope that the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System (PAS) of the Africa Export and Import Bank (AfCFTA) can provide a pathway towards the formalization of the widely informal trade across West Africa, which is estimated at $50 billion. Stakeholders were urged to contribute to the successful achievement of a single African currency in support of the implementation of the AfCFTA. Organizations such as the AfCFTA Policy Network and Borderless Alliance participated in the two-day conference. The African Union Commission is organizing the Specialized Technical Committee on Trade, Industry and Minerals to be held under the theme Deepening Economic Integration through Interconnected and Competitive Product Value Chains based on local commodities from 31st August 2021 to 3rd September 2021. The second IATF 2021 Country Roadshow comes off in Nairobi, Kenya on 31st August 2021. The African Union has congratulated the Republic of Burundi for becoming the 38th country on the continent to deposit its instrument of ratification. In a post, the AU said, "Congratulations to Burundi for becoming the 38th AfCFTA state party after depositing its instrument of ratification this morning. Universal ratification closer than ever. We are building one African market at African Union. This means that Burundi is now ready to freely trade among other African states." So I guess the biggest news is that Burundi has also deposited its instrument of ratification, taking the number now to 38 of party states. Also, if you have any engagement in any city of Africa, the flight schedules from Kotoka International Airport to all cities on the continent of Africa is coming up on your screens, as well as the weather report for African cities, and then the forex rate for African markets, all next. Quite a number of people are excited about this program, the Single African Market program, and they are talking about it on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Everywhere they're talking about it. You also want to enjoy, follow it, and understand the entire vision of the continent to have one market by engaging us on our various social media platforms. This week, some people have sent in some questions or issues they need understanding, and we endeavor to approach all the relevant institutions, the AfCFTA National Secretariat, as well as civil society groups like the APN, the AfCFTA Policy Network, the Borderless Alliance, and we've been able to put together some responses for you. Listen. Meshak Bonzi, watching on Facebook, says, so how do I benefit from AfCFTA? AfCFTA gives you access to a larger market which you can trade beyond Ghana. That is, for instance, if you sell palm oil in Ghana, now you can go and sell in Togo, Nigeria, or Abidjan with a reduced duty or tariff, or maybe entirely duty-free if the goods you are selling is part of the 90% goods that will not attract tariff or duty over a period. Or if you were already selling there, now you can do so without the tariffs or duty. And you also have a free opportunity to offer services and seek investment opportunities in other African countries you may want to take advantage of. Abraham Cromwell wants to know the requirements and opportunities associated with AfCFTA. Abi, it depends on which industry you find yourself in the country you are interested in trading with or offer your services, and what your competitive edge is. Therefore, encourage yourself to do research about investment and trade opportunities under AfCFTA in other African countries, particularly the ones you have interest in. David from AskFool says, where is the National AfCFTA Secretariat? David, the main source of all first-hand information around the AfCFTA are the National AfCFTA Coordination Offices of party states. Here in Ghana, the National Coordination Office is at the Ministry of Trade and Industry for now, and they may soon be moving to the ground floor of the AfCFTA Secretariat. Peter Udrago Odukoya says, how is it possible for all Africans to have a single market when even the regions, for example, have conflicting laws between national and Ecowas regulations? Well, Peter, the difference is that AfCFTA has come to build on regional economic blocks to strengthen what is happening at the regional level. So although all existing regulations within the regional economic communities are to be respected under AfCFTA, none should be an impediment to trade under AfCFTA. Again, AfCFTA has well-grounded dispute resolution protocol that will aid resolution of conflicts as far as compliance of the agreement is concerned. Bashir Manu says, congratulations for the good works you are doing, especially with the projection of made in Ghana products and services involving the youth. William Echampon says, this is a very, very good platform, and I am following you. Those were some of your views and comments. You can keep them coming in all the time, and we'll endeavor to send them to the right authorities or outlets and bring you the results or the responses that you need. Continue to patronize the program. Understand the vision of the continent to create one market for itself. And as I always tell you, it's not just about trade in goods, trade in service as well. So you definitely have to be concerned. Free movement of individuals. If you will ever move within the continent of Africa, move from Ghana to anywhere, you need to know about the AfCFTA. Even if you won't move, because if you don't move, other things will move and come and meet you here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you same time next week. There's a Africa rise and shine in the name of great Africa. It's a fight and conquer now.